Okay. Woo. I have less than half an hour. Good luck with that one, Dee. I would stick on a hat, but the comfy ones are downstairs. So bold it is. So today I thought I'd do a bit of a diary entry. I haven't actually sat down and talked about what's going on. Thought I'd just do that now. Okay, so round 3. That was the one where I drove myself in that video. Was it? Yeah. Round 3 was awful. Okay, here's the first thing. Okay, the actual infusion was fine. I was with a nurse that I hadn't been with before, and we got chatting about loads of stuff. She had been living in Saudi and had traveled and stuff, and it was really interesting, and I had a great time. It was actually a great time getting chemo that day. Before actually getting the chemo though, getting the line was, oh, it was terrible. It was awful. My veins have started to drop and disappear. I have really thin veins in my hands and in my wrists anyway, and that's where they really like to be able to put the cannula in. So I ended up being poked 4 times to get the actual line in, and that has just actually, oh my god, it's completely kicked off this fear of needles that I already had, but has just amplified it, and I'm not in a good way with needles at the moment at all. Which is not the ideal fear to have when you're going through chemo. Oh my god, at all. Back to the actual chemo part. Chemo went fine that day, and I drove myself in and I was able to drive myself out. It was fine. But oh my god, I didn't do well at all for the time between round 3 and round 4. Okay, so this is important for you to know if you are a person who is going through chemo, because I know I'm not the only person that this happened to, because I've actually met somebody here in the town that I live, and she said the same thing about how she felt going into round 4 versus all the other times and the times after that. In fact, she said that she felt that she could go through any amount of radiation, she could go through another surgery, but she would absolutely hate to go through chemotherapy again, and particularly going in how she felt on that round 4 of chemo. Thankfully, she told me that before round 3, because when I was feeling that bad between round 3 and round 4, I actually was able to think about her saying that and was able to think, okay, no, somebody else felt like this. It's gonna be okay, I'm gonna get through it. I was sicker than I have ever been, and I was wrecked. My back was spasming, my spine. The headaches were awful. So bad. Oh, I also got the flu or something. I got something. What did I get? I got something, a kind of a cold, basically. I was miserable. But anyway, on one hand, I did not want to go for round 4 of chemo because I thought, oh my god, I just don't want to do it. And then on the other hand, I was thinking, oh, I hope that the blood count is up, because I wasn't feeling well, that it's high enough for me to be able to actually go for my next round of chemo. And in the end, I just thought, okay, look, if I go along and they say they can't do it, then it's just as well, because there's no way that I was going to be able to feel any worse than I already was. I wasn't going to be able to put up with it. So look, anyway, I went along and I was able to do round 4. It was fine. As I said before, this needle fear, has been so heightened. So I said that I needed Noel to come with me to the hospital. Not just to the hospital, but actually to come and sit right next to me while I was getting poked, basically, to get the line in. Okay, walking into the hospital, okay, if you've seen the video, okay, you walk down the corridor and then you walk through those doors. I walked through those doors into the ward, turned to Noel and said, I have to go to the toilet. Literally just ran straight in and threw up. And that was not chemo sick, that was anxiety. Oh, I was up the walls. I was in bits. Oh. Anyway, went in, I got my blood done, and that's fine, to be honest, because they can get the blood no matter what, pretty much. So I just Because they use my arms for the blood. That's why, because my arms are fine. The veins in my arm, well, they're not actually, to be honest. It's they've dropped in the arms as well, so it's kind of hard to find them. But once they're found, they're a good size. So went along, got the blood done, and to be honest, he was even still standing at the door there, which I don't even know if that is appropriate or allowed, but he did it and nobody said a word. So that was fine. And then went out, went to the waiting room, sat down, and I swear I was sitting there just going, swallowing my own vomit. Literally. I was so sick with the nerves. So then I went in to go and get the line in and my vitals done and stuff. Oh, I was seeing my oncologist and the doctor on the ward that day because I had been so sick in the meantime. Guess we'd called the hospital about something, I can't remember now, but they knew beforehand that it hadn't gone well for me between round 3 and round 4, so I was going to see the doctor. So actually the line went straight in because the nurse who was doing it is the one who doesn't mind putting it into my arm, so she put it straight into my arm. It was fine, didn't hurt at all, it was great. So then I had to sit for a while to wait for the doctors to come along, which was fine, but I was still really, really nervous. I had worked myself up so much then that I started thinking about, I didn't want to get the chemo, and I was thinking, what if the line isn't in properly and the chemo burns me? And you know, I just started thinking all crazy, you know, crazy thoughts, you know, cuckoo. I was sitting there and again I kept on feeling like I was gonna get sick, and then I didn't want to get up because I didn't want to miss the doctors coming around. And then eventually I did go. I went to the toilet, and when I came back, Noel told me the doctors had come while I was in. But anyway, I got sick at that stage and I actually just felt so much better. So that was it, saw the doctors and stuff, and then I went and I had the infusion and everything, and it went fine. On this round, my symptoms have been really, really manageable, to be honest. What time is it? Ooh, I only have 10 minutes. Okay. So the main thing is that I got loads and loads and loads of rest this time. Last time I kind of pushed myself to do things when really I shouldn't have done. Just even the simplest of things, telling myself that I'm going to go down to the shop, you know, down to the supermarket, do hoovering, go for a walk, even go on long journeys in the car, you know? Those were all things that, although it seems like a small little thing, it actually becomes a much bigger deal, and by the time you realize that it has exhausted you, it's too late. When you actually are physically exhausting yourself, and I'm not exaggerating, you literally exhaust yourself by doing the smallest things. All of the other side effects then become exaggerated. You know, your headache is so much worse, you feel so much more nauseous, you are so much more tired, to the point of you can't even fall asleep then. You know, it's a vicious circle. So getting rest is the key. And this time I got loads and loads and loads of rest. I just stayed in bed, went and had super long baths, which, oh my God, I have 2-hour baths now. I used to, you know, take the occasional bath. I'd never last more than half an hour in a bath. But oh my God, oh, there's the dishwasher. But yes, ooh, chilling in the bath, it's amazing. So good. I didn't leave the house for 6 days. I'm not even ashamed. The nausea this time was so much more under control. I was using mainly the Valoid and the Stematol, and the Zofran I took for the first 5 days, but I don't even think that was the thing that was really being that effective. It was really managing the medications and really paying attention to myself. You know, what do I need right now? I really think that that's what did it. The other thing is that I kind of changed up the dosing of the steroid, and that was actually by accident, because all the tablets look the same and I was a bit, you know, chemo brainy and dumb. And I accidentally mixed up the steroid and the Stematol, one of the anti-sickness ones. Anyway, long story short, I didn't take the steroid, on the Friday. I realized then on the Friday evening, and was I not feeling so good? I don't know. One night now, I hadn't taken it for the evening, and Noel had to practically carry me to bed. I just went downhill really quickly. But I ended up basically halving the dosage of the steroid, and I felt fine. Really interestingly, that girl that I was talking about before, who had talked to me about how she felt before round 4, said that she had been really sick, and it turned out that it was the steroid. She'd basically been having a reaction to the steroid, and that's what was making her really sick. Now, I don't know. I'm not saying I was having a reaction to the steroid, but maybe it was making me more sick. I don't know. But I'm certainly going to tell them that anyway when I go in this week. And the headaches as well. You know, I almost feel as if they gave me a lower dose of chemo this time or something. Because everything is just so much more, you know, calm and manageable this time. So the headaches, yeah. So it's the cyclophosphamide that causes the headaches, really. It can give you those kind of migraines. Now, the headaches that I'm getting this time they're first of all not nearly as frequent. They're not nearly as intense, but they're different. It's this really strange feeling, okay? It's on this side. It kind of starts up here, but I can also feel it up here. You know, I can feel it on this entire side of my head. But then also in my nose. So I thought for a while maybe it was a sinus related thing, and I started taking antihistamine. Didn't work. I also get this sensation of, you know, when you go upside down in the pool and chlorine burns inside your nose? I get that feeling inside my nose. And then sometimes if I bend down or something, I do get it on both sides, but it's just the weirdest feeling. But I looked it up online because, you know, that's how you diagnose yourself with anything, is through Google. I looked it up anyway to see, well, what is this headache that feels like you're upside down underwater, blah blah blah. And seemingly people get this headache with the chlorine burn feeling, and it's a migraine. So you learn something new every day. On the needle thing, this time, yeah, I could not give myself my Neulasta injection. The Zoladex was not a fun experience either. That's the implant one. And I got Noel to come along to see the nurse doing it, because you can actually give it to yourself, but I am horrified by the look of it because it's enormous. I got Noel to watch anyway and just know how to do it. I mean, there's instructions in the box. I don't think you actually have to have training on the Zoladex one, but he got himself a little bit of training there, and he'll give me the next one. But I actually got Emla cream to use for the next time, which I saw on Cancer with a Smile here on YouTube. It's basically a cream that you can put on to numb the area before you get an injection. So I'm gonna try that for the next time, because I am kind of the needle phobia is sort of out of control at the moment. This is how bad my needle phobia is, okay? When I was younger, you know, I lived in Zambia. So, I mean, you need to get vaccinations for a lot of things when you live in Africa. Oh my God. This is how it was, okay? Got to the stage where I wouldn't get vaccinations, and I also wouldn't get vaccinations in Zambia. I was really afraid. Basically because everyone is so conscious of AIDS in Zambia that, you know, needle phobia plus anxiety equals you think that you're gonna get AIDS every time you see a needle. So, oh my God, that's crazy, I know. Got to the stage where my parents were basically like, does she really need that vaccine? Does she? I mean, she's been here long enough. She probably would have got polio already if she was gonna. Oh, how bad do you have to be that your parents actually don't give you a vaccine. I don't know what Devin would have to do for me to not vaccinate him. And Devin's pretty intense. Sorry, mom and dad. Oh god. So what time am I? Okay, better hurry. So the other thing is the menopause situation. So just if you haven't seen the videos already, I am currently in a medically induced state of menopause. Not only because I am on chemotherapy, but also because I take this Zoladex implant, which effectively shuts down the ovaries and puts you into menopause. So I've had 3 Zoladex implants at this stage. I'm full on menopausal right now. The hot flushes, whatever way you want to say it, they are intense at the moment. I mean, they happen all the time. Thankfully, I don't have hair. You know, silver lining, remember? Because my hair would be soaking wet all of the time. I would actually shave my head. That's probably what would happen. It's really not a fun time at all. And then, you know, the same thing in bed. I woke up last night, for example, taken off my long sleeve pajama top. I put on a short sleeve one, and then I'd wrap the little fleecy blanket around me, thinking I'll take that off if I get too hot, and then I'll have this short sleeve top on, I'll be fine, and this is how I'm gonna regulate my temperature. So I woke up and the blanket was literally soaking wet, as if I had held it under a shower. I could wring the sweat out of it. It was disgusting. Yeah, that pretty much happens all the time. Oh, for example, now, you know the way I wear the hats in public? So when I get the sweats, I have to take the hat off. The other day, Devin actually saw me do it. And he says, I hope you put that hat back on before anybody sees you. Poor child. He's totally fine with my head in the house. But God help us if anybody sees the bald head in public. Especially any of his friends in school or anything like that. Oh God. The embarrassment of it. I'm just going to do this really quick addendum to this video. And you'll know in a second what it is I'm doing now. But basically, the other thing is that for the last 3 weeks, so before round 3, I've had this cough. And I am freaking myself out over it because I never said this, but when I did my CT to see if there was any metastases of the cancer, there was a nodule that showed up on the lung, but it was very small, and they said that they weren't worried about it. But I have myself convinced that the cancer has spread to the lung now. So that's the old craziness for you. That's what that is. But anyway, I'm pretty sure that it's either chemo cough or it's a cough, because there's a million coughs going around at the moment. But then sometimes I'm crazy and I think the other thing. So yeah. So I have to go. I've talked far too much and said nothing at all. So that is great. The main thing is that between round 3 and 4 is crap. If you're here because you've looked up like how am I going to deal with round 4 of AC chemo, then I am telling you it is going to be okay. You are not the only one, and I'm not the only one either. There are plenty of us out there. I have met one in my own town, which is a very small town. I'm telling you, between round 3 and round 4 is totally crap, but you will be fine. Round 4 is actually, for me, was not as bad as any of them actually so far. If you're doing the same regimen as me, then number 4 is the last one, and then you get to move on to the next type of chemo. So yes, it's gonna be fine. Okay, so that's the update. I better go, otherwise my child will be standing around wondering where I am. If you're enjoying these videos on the channel, then please subscribe so that you can see more. Also, if you subscribe and you click the bell, then that will notify you when I put new videos up as well. As always, feel free to comment below or to find me on my social media. I use Instagram mostly. and we'll get chatting, because I'm totally fine with that. So that's it from me. I'm gonna be so late for Devin now. He's gonna kill me. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.